Coming up on Unpacked, the second chapter.
You know, dating in South Africa only takes 2 weeks. When it passes, the entire Zambia watched. I got support not only in South Africa, but everywhere around Africa. People called in just to check up on me. So many queer people that were killed because of who they are. Where will I sleep next? Where will I get food next? It's on a different level.
When Arnold came to Unpacked with Relebogile Maboja, it was quite a difficult episode to get through because the country where he is from, it is illegal to be who he is. Take a look.
Other parents wouldn't allow me to play with their kids. I'm different from other people. I'm queer. I was kicked out of the house. I was 13 to 14. I was made to feel as though I'm demonic. I reached a point where I wanted to commit suicide.
But when did you get to know that this is actually a crime?
I really didn't know. All I knew is that it's forbidden. Then I received a call from a friend of mine. It's like, we are literally coming for you wherever you are. Please get out of your house. And by then, the only country that allows homosexuality was South Africa. I left Zambia just to come here and do prostitution. So those are the reasons they give for the denial of my asylum. One of them appeared in front of me and the other one at the back. The other one just literally pushed me down. I knelt down and literally forced his penis inside my mouth. And then the other one also started raping me from behind. I really, really felt so disgusted.
Arnold, welcome to Unpacked, the second chapter. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. How are you?
I am good. I am very, very good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
When your episode went out on air, what was the feedback like? I mean, you shared, about some of the hateful experiences you had in South Africa, being a gay man, not being from the country. What was the reception like after the episode went out?
Oh, wow. Where do I even start from? The reception, I think it was amazing. The support I got from people around the world. There were some few hate comments that I didn't really like, and I really didn't indulge into them, but the rest of them were so amazing. I got support not only in South Africa, but everywhere around Africa. People called in just to check up on me. So that was so good to experience. I got love from everywhere around the world. So that was beautiful.
Arnold, the last time you were with us, you were sharing the challenges that you had with home affairs and your refugee status. So what has happened since you left the show?
So after I left the show, oh my God, the support was amazing. Not all was good, but most of it, like 75%, was amazing. I got a lot of people from different backgrounds around Africa, around South Africa, that reached out to me just to offer their support. Others reached out with homophobic, hateful comments as usual, but I got used to that. But also, I started working on my documents with the United Nations. This has been a process that I would always start and then I would leave it, or maybe at some times I would cancel it. I think because I fell in love with South Africa, and many times whenever I'm chatting to a guy, I would always think I'm like, no, there's potential here. And then I would end up for some reason just abandoning the process. I was just so scared to start over.
Mm.
Yes.
So you were working on your documents with the UN. Can you help us understand what that means?
So what happened? I started working on my documents with the United Nations because South Africa couldn't accept me, and I was stateless in the country, even though yeah, I didn't have any rights at all in the country. I couldn't have any, I never had a bank account. Even the time I was working for Wits University as an assistant researcher, paying me was a problem. I had to ask Professor Anthony Brown, who literally assisted me with his bank account. And that's the one that I was using to get paid in. I couldn't open a bank account. And yeah, that was my life. That was my life.
So you were working on your documents with the UN. What was the official final standing from Home Affairs in South Africa regarding your status? Did they say application is denied, or it was just continuously pending?
It was continuously pending, but the last month before I left, I received an official denial letter from Home Affairs. That was in February. And then immediately I left in March. I left by the 18th of March after I received an official denial letter and asked me to leave I was given within 3 weeks. That's when I was like, oh, okay. And immediately that's when now I went to the UN, and only 5 countries gave me permanent residency right away. And then I chose Canada, and that's when I came to Canada. So that's where I am now.
So what were the other countries that were available for you to choose from?
It was the US, the Netherlands, Germany, Australia, and then Canada.
So why did you choose Canada out of those 5 countries?
I did a little bit of research once when it comes to queerness in the US and in all these other countries. There was no reason. And moreover, like, I also looked at this, how stronger the Canadian visa is. This allows me to go to all these countries that gave me permanent residency, but I can go there just with my Canadian passport without me requesting for any visa. So I was like, it had the most strongest passport. And then I was like, I'm gonna go with that one.
So when you choose, a country to go and basically seek asylum, and in the case of yourself, you were given permanent residency immediately, what do they provide for you to start over? Because you're arriving in a foreign country that you don't know anybody. Like, what happens? How do they set you up?
What currently, immediately I got into Canada, I'm back at school. I'm with Sinclair College, doing communication. Yes, so I'm not the one. That's already a platform that has been given for me to go through that. Immediately I get in school. But also, life has become easy now. I do not even know why.
So are you saying that they connect you with somewhere to stay, they set you up with everything when you get there, or do they say we're only going to help you for a month and then you have to figure it out for yourself?
They connect you with everything. The time I came, I had to stay in a hotel for about 3 months, and that was by choice.
Mm,
I just felt like I needed to relax, and I didn't want to have responsibilities of running the house. So I stayed in a hotel for 3 months. And then after that, I left. I started traveling around the city, looking where I'd want to stay, if I want to be in Toronto, if I want to be in Windsor. And then I discovered I wanted a small city, but which is like 20 minutes flight from here to Toronto, or I
mm,
can get in by train. Just basically the way I used to live in Pretoria, coming to Johannesburg. And
mm.
I decided to move to a small city so that I can be able to establish myself before I could go to a bigger city like Toronto. So they literally provide a platform for you. They give you everything for you to start over. Whatever you need, you just need to ask. They'll literally give you everything on, yeah, basically. But also after getting here, I also just gotten into working on myself. I had to reopen my website, which is www.arnoldmulaisha.com. And with this now, I'm collaborating with other activist to this side. And it's so surprising that I put up a show which is ending global human rights trafficking. And immediately I put it out there. The show is already sold out and it's happening
Mm,
next week. And then I'm like, the support is amazing. And
mm.
yeah, which I'm happy about.
So, what has happened in terms of your family?
Um, I've my family reached out, um, which is so good. We've started creating conversations, even though we do not even know where to start from.
Mm,
Um, yeah, but at least they there is there is communication. There is little steps that have started forming of I think friendship or
mm,
fellowship. Yeah, but it's awkward because we don't even know each other very much.
mm.
There are times I'm telling them like, oh, there's this cute guy I found. They don't even know how to react. But I think I'm happy knowing that no, at least I'm talking to few of them. Yeah.
And did they watch your episode when it aired? And what did they think about it?
The entire Zambia watched. Um, the entire Zambia watched, and I received articles that were written in some blogs about the interview that we conducted last time. Um, Not so good that I'll be proud of that. No, like what people were saying, but I'm glad that it happened and conversations have started taking place. It's through difficult conversation that should be had. That's the only time that we're able to start seeing change taking place in society.
We had some questions and comments after the episode came out. So at Juanita Mazuba 646 says, this hits hard for me, especially as a South African born Zambian who is in full support of the LGBTQIA plus community. The change must start with the people of Zambia. They need to change their views and make a big enough impact so that the current Zambian government can pass legislation that is in full support of the community and bans all forms of discrimination against them. What is the current status in Zambia with regards to the rights for the community?
Right now, we've started talking. We've started talking, and I'm glad to say that the youths of Zambia have started standing up especially amongst the queer community. We used to keep quiet, but now we've started having the conversation, even though it's difficult. It seems as if the president supports, but he's also trying to play safe in a sense that he needs to go back to power again, and the majority are the people that those that call themselves those that force this illusion that no, Zambia is a Christian nation, and for that reason, such conversation should not even be had. And that's where it becomes difficult because, like, I'm a Christian. The Bible says that God, I don't know, that God knew you before you were even born. He knew you before you were even formed in your mother's womb, meaning that he knew who I was gonna be, because I haven't known anything else apart from me being queer, apart from me being gay. Even if I were to be born again, then they had to ask me, I'll still choose being gay because that's the only thing that I've known. I do not even know what being straight is or how straight people live their lives, but I'm happy with who I am. Yeah, so we've started having those conversations. It's just that we need more education to unlearn what we've always been taught and to learn, to create room to learn new things, which are going on right now, especially with us, the queer community. Yeah.
And then another one from @Caroline Mukhabane 4386. What Arnold went through is painful. Sometimes I feel very grateful to be gay and born in South Africa because it's such a free and welcoming country. And I also wish that Zambia will stop treating human beings like trash for being truthful about their beings. I mean, you've touched on the fact that so many people reached out to you and shared support. How do you feel about that particular comment?
South Africa has got beautiful laws, but is it welcoming? Yes, on paper, and no, in reality. I'm so happy that the time I stayed in South Africa, I got to know Professor Anthony Brown, somebody that gave me so much support during my stay in South Africa. I got to know Professor Anthony Brown after I had stayed, I think, for a year by myself in South Africa. And that's when I got to know him. What I got to understand is that the mental capacity that we operate on is different. When I'm worried about being deported, when I'm worried about not going to the hospital or going to the police or any government facility that should be there to serve everybody, that comes with so much mental illness. And through that process, there are times that I would lock up myself in my room, or sometimes I'll get up, pretend to be happy, and yet in my mind, it's constant battle. Even when I decide even when I became a danger to myself, it doesn't work out. I'll still come out and smile because I do not want him to worry, or because I do not know what's going to happen thereafter. And a lot of queer migrants are going through that on a daily basis, whereby we are worried, where will I sleep next? Where will I get food next? And all that. It's on a different level. And you still have to go back to Home Affairs, to the same place that doesn't want you, to the same place that keep on telling you, go back home, go back home, go back home, go back home. So it is welcoming on paper, but in reality, it's not. Through COVID, we had so many people, so many queer people that were killed because of who they are. Through those queer people, mostly South African trended, Twitter, everywhere. When it comes to queer migrants that were killed through hate crime, none of those trended. It had to go through our phones just to arrange how we can take those bodies back to their countries. That difficult conversations that couldn't even trend on Twitter or anywhere or on any news agencies, for that matter. Yeah.
And I think that's a fair thing to say, that we are challenged as a country, that we've gotten the part where it comes to the law right, when it comes to the Constitution, but changing people's mindsets is a whole different ballgame, and also changing how the laws are implemented, and just the challenges that we face in the system as a whole. So I think that's a fair assessment. But I am so happy that you are in such a good space, that you've been able to start a new life for yourself. And now that you're a permanent resident in Canada, are you seeing yourself staying there for the rest of your life, or do you feel like this is just a transition until the next step?
I'm seeing myself staying here for the rest of my life, but I have a case in South Africa, which I remember last time I did tell you about it. So we'll be hearing from them, I think, in November. They keep on postponing, and there is a possibility that they might give me permanent residency in South Africa as well. So fingers crossed. I mean, I love South Africa. I fell in love. I've been in South Africa for 7 years. I fell in love with the culture. Whenever there is Johannesburg Pride, when I get those invitations, Pretoria Pride, the Feathers. I mean, we met at the Feathers last year, which was great. South Africa became my home despite everything that I went through. I could have come to Canada earlier, but all the time, like, I would fall in love with some man maybe for about 2 weeks. Dating in South Africa only takes 2 weeks. When it passes, when it passes a month, you are lucky. And all the time, whenever I would experience that, and then I would literally cancel the process. I'm like, no, I found Mujolo, I'm not going anywhere. And then the next thing that ends, the only person that would push me back and put me back to order, I think that's why I appreciate Professor Brown. He would always put me back to order. Yeah, so I would always want to come back to visit. Living was difficult. They didn't want me to leave. They had to hold me at OR Tambo for some certain time. And currently, I think I'm blacklisted, but we are trying to work on that so I'm able to come and visit South Africa at any time. So I look forward to that.
Arnold, thank you so much for coming to share your story, but also helping us as a platform continue to be an ally for the community all over the world. Your story really has inspired many, not just South Africans, not just Zambians, but the community as a whole. And we really do hope that Zambia and the Zambian government reach a point where they choose to accept, the people of their country, all of them, and not make who you are something that is illegal, that you being gay makes you a criminal, and you acting on that and expressing who you are makes you a criminal. Thank you so much for coming through and talking to us and giving us an update.
Yes, thank you for having me. I think also the goal is to have every country just welcome their people. I think if Zambia accepts queer people, in Uganda, it also accepts queer people everywhere, there will not be any of there won't be any hate going around in different countries. We're just going to live together in harmony. That's why such platforms as this are very important, so that we can start having conversations and just raising awareness, so that we are accepted everywhere, regardless of where we are or where we are born from. Yes, thank you for having me. I really appreciate, and good to hanging out with you again.
Some stories do have a good ending, and I'm so happy that in this particular conversation that there was hope at the end of the tunnel and a brand new life in Canada. Share your comments down below, share your questions down below, subscribe onto the YouTube channel, hit the notification bell, and don't forget, all of the questions that you have for previous guests, put them through. If there's someone that you like, Relebogile, please can the Unpacked team have this person back again? Maybe we'll bring them back on the second chapter. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time. Next time on Unpacked, the second chapter.
I got a call and it was from the child, but I could hear that the mother was around. For them to just think they can just switch it on again, I felt like it was unfair.
Do you still consider him your son?
I still have love for the child. It's not something that you can just wake up tomorrow and throw it away.
Is there anybody that you would love to see on the second chapter? Maybe there's a question that you think I should have asked, or something that was burning after you watched and you wished you could have the guest back. Maybe you were confused, or maybe you felt like, there's definitely more to the story. Comment down below and let us know who you'd like to see, which story you'd like to revisit, which guest you'd like us to invite back for Unpacked, the second chapter.